let's learn some bass. There's never been a better time to get going. This is not the same old super basic beginner bass lesson where I teach you how to plug your bass in. Been there, done that. Now is the time for badassery. I'm gonna walk you through a complete practice routine to get more badass at bass, even if you've never touched one before. You'll learn how to have fun improvising, lock in with a beat, crank out solid bass lines, and more till you're a bass slaying machine. This lesson is designed so you learn your first skill on day 1, you pause, you go practice, then you come back on day 2, rinse and repeat until you've graduated by the end of the week. But you can rip through the whole video in one go if you want to. I'm stuck in your screen and I can't stop you. Improvising your own bass ideas is one of the most fun things to do, but it's pretty easy to sound bad. Boo! Boo! You're bad. Noob Josh, you suck. So how about we skip the sounding bad part and I get you sounding badass in just 3 steps with some idiot-proof improv. The best way to sound bad improvising is to play the wrong notes. So how do you know which notes to play? Eventually you'll want to learn scales, which will help you find good sounding notes. But for now, I'm gonna give you some no theory training wheels that'll help you sound good on your own and with the tracks we're gonna play. Step 1 is to get some cool notes by playing the dots. Just go crazy with any note that has a dot on your fretboard. You can even use the open strings with no fretting, and they'll basically all sound good against this guitar part. You can go slow, super simple, or you can play faster, something more complex. And believe it or not, you can take this all the way to Geezer Butler of Black Sabbath level. This part of his famous NIB solo is on all dots, so if it's good enough for Geezer, I think it's good enough for us. Plus The Awakening, as played by Primus's Les Claypool, also dots galore. A couple of the notes on the dots might sound crappy with this track, and that's fine, you just move on. And some of them are gonna sound like, whoa, that's awesome. And there's theory behind all of that. For now, I just want you to get some notes locked in so you're ready for step 2. Because the second way people sound bad improvising is playing crappy rhythm.
Stop booing at me, I'm doing my best, damn it.
Playing in time with other musicians is super crucial to sounding good, especially as bassists. So on day 2, I'm gonna show you specific rhythms that'll help you lock in a solid game plan. But first, you need to nail step 2, feel the pulse. The pulse is the consistent, steady heartbeat of the music, which on this track is right here. And if you can find that pulse when you're listening to music, feel it hitting your body, maybe move along with it with some sexy dance moves, you've got a much better chance at playing rhythms that sound good. So you can just pluck along with that pulse, playing some notes on the dots, or you could play every couple pulses, or maybe in between pulses. It could be super simple or more complex. Whatever you do, you just want to make sure you're feeling where that pulse is. Your improv should be sounding pretty decent by now, but there's one more step to make your playing sound less random and scattered, and it's step 3, settle into a groove by repeating notes. Repeating notes makes your playing sound more consistent and baseline-y, and it also makes it easier to play because you have more time to plan your next move. So to start the track, grab a note that's on the dots, see how it sounds, repeat it a bit, move on. Maybe you find one that's a little gross, so that's useful data, just move on from there. Maybe you find one that sounds, whoa, that's awesome. You can hang there some extra time. You can also try holding notes for longer times than other notes versus just repeating them with more plucks. Your mission to complete day 1, spend another 5 to 10 minutes trying out some idiot-proof improv. You can play along with the tracks on your own with the links in the description. I've got tons of resources for you there for all 7 days, all totally free. Why does this sound bad? But this sounds good. It's the #1 thing that makes a bassist sound crappy, not locking in with the drummer, which you may have discovered in your improv explorations on day 1. There are many aspects of getting locked in, but for starters, you'll learn 4 foundational rhythms that every musician needs to know, so you always have a rhythm game plan. Here's the deal, for most music, we like to count to 4 over and over and over. It's just what we like, and it's as high as most drummers can count. So if we listen to the next track, we start by finding the pulse, that steady heartbeat of the song, which is right here, and then we just count to 4 from the start of the pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cats and boots and cats and... Foundational rhythm #1 is the whole note, which lasts a full 4 count, like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can hear this rhythm in action on I'll Be There by the Jackson 5.
You and I must make a pact. spring.
Let's try that rhythm together on the open E string, which is the big fat string closest to your face. So I'll count to 4, then we'll start plucking the open E string on the 1 count together a couple times. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And on this drum beat, you can listen to the crash cymbal for where that whole note is, which sounds like psh, right here. Psh, 2, 3, 4. Next up, rhythm number 2 is the half note, which lasts for 2 counts, half as long as the whole note. Sorry if I just blew your mind with that. You can hear this rhythm at the end of the 7 Nation Army riff, with the half notes hitting on the 1 count and the 3 count. Let's play that together again on the E string, but this time let's press down the 3rd fret note for some variety. And we'll put all these rhythms together into a cool play along at the end of this day's lesson. So press down on the 3rd fret, get ready to pluck on 1 and 3. Again, I'm gonna give you 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll start together. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can hear that half note rhythm on the kick drum, which is the low, thumpy drum you probably can't hear if you're listening to this on your phone speaker. Foundational rhythm number 3 is the quarter note, which lasts for 1 count, so you just pluck on every count. And this rhythm is heavily featured in the bass riff for Another One Bites the Dust. Let's try some quarter notes together. Press on the 5th fret of the E string, and let's just pluck on every count together. I'll give you 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pluck, 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 pluck. And you can hear all the quarter notes in this beat by listening between the kick drum and the snare drum, which is that boom, crack, that crack sound. So boom, crack, kick, snare gives you all the quarter notes. Finally, before we mash all these rhythms together to get one cool sounding bass line, rhythm number 4 is 8th notes, which actually split the count into 2 even notes per count. And we count that like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. This rhythm is heavily featured in tons of bass lines. Let's use Zombie by the Cranberries, just for fun and also because my editor is Irish and I want to annoy him. All right, you know the drill. Press on the 7th fret of the E string and let's try plucking some 8th notes. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you can follow this rhythm on the hi-hat, which goes on every 8th note. Let's do something crazy. We're gonna put all 4 rhythms into one song to make sure you remember everything. Just like we played them before, a whole note on the open E string, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 half notes on the 3rd fret, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 quarter notes on the 5th fret, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8 eighth notes on the 7th fret, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 4 counts and then we're in. We'll just do this a couple times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Notice how the more frequently you pluck, the more energy you add to the song. We'll explore that more on day 6 when we play a legit, real song. Your mission to complete day 2, spend another 5 to 10 minutes practicing switching between the 4 foundational rhythms. You can do that with notes on the dots along with the day 1 play along track, or you can use whatever notes you want with a plain drum track. You probably think writing cool, non-noob bass riffs is out of reach on day 3, but you can actually just use what I call shapes to find really cool sounding shit. Shapes are a shortcut that allow you to visualize your fretboard so that writing and playing bass lines is super easy. So welcome to 5, 6, 7 heaven. Why am I saying 5, 6, 7 heaven? Because we're gonna play frets 5, 6, and 7. So the shape here is basically a straight line that you can copy paste on any of the 4 strings. It gives you really nice little noodly riffs, and also gets you started with the index, middle, pinky fretting technique that's most efficient for most bass playing. And you can find 5, 6, 7 heaven riffing in tons of popular bass lines.
You need
index finger to press the 5th fret, middle finger to press the 6th fret, and pinky to press the 7th fret, no matter what string you're on. I know you want to use your ring finger instead of your pinky, just trust me and give your pinky some love. And make sure you press at the end of the fret, not back here, to get less buzz. If you want more buzz, then slide your finger further up the neck, over to your mouse, and subscribe to BassBuzz. It's really easy to make up your own riffs in 5, 6, 7 heaven. You can kind of just like have at it without much of a game plan, and it'll sound pretty cool. But there's one more tip that's crucial to get if you want your future raging fans to be able to absorb and enjoy your riffs. You need to pick a focal point for your riff, a note that gets emphasized more than others, so the listener's ear has something solid to latch onto. This is formally called a root note, which I'll explain more on day 4. It's really easy to do that. Just pick a note you're gonna start on and spend a little more time on it than other notes. I'll demonstrate this for you, and I'll pick the 5th fret of the E string as my focal point. So that'll be my starting note, and I'll come back to it at least like every 4 counts. And the cool thing is that since I know which note my focal point is, it's easier for the guitar player to follow along, and we can play something that sounds good. So I'll start at my focal point, the guitar player's on board, then I'll just play some 5, 6, 7 heaven. Again, it could go simple, or I could go more complex. Your mission to complete day 3, make up at least one riff that you think sounds cool using 5, 6, 7 heaven. To play with the play along track in the description, you'll need to use the same focal point I used, the 5th fret on the E string. Or you can just use whatever focal point you want with the drum track. There's 2 shapes that every bass player knows. Without them, you couldn't play 90% of all bass lines ever. And even if you only know these 2 shapes, you can come up with super solid bass lines for any song. Is that enough hype? I can keep going. You good? Okay, we're talking about the root 5th shape. You can really just learn this as visual shapes on the fretboard, but I'm gonna give you the minimum amount of theory to really be able to adapt this to any song. A root note, like I mentioned briefly on day 3, is a focal point that feels like a home base to the listener. And it's also the main note of whatever chord is being played by the guitar or piano. So the root will be the starting anchor note that we start all of these shapes from. And all you need to know about the 5th for now is that it's a really, really good note to add to bass lines, and you can find it with the shapes I'm about to show you. I have a whole video where you can nerd out on the theory of that later. So let's dig straight in. There are 2 shapes, the high shape and the low shape. For the high shape, we just need to find a starting root note. So let's take the 5th fret of the A string, which is your 2nd thickest string, and grab that with your index finger. And to find the other note, the 5th, you go up a string and up 2 frets. And when I say up, I mean to higher sounding notes. So to the next thinnest string and then up 2 fret numbers. So that means 7th fret on the next string, which is called the D string, which you can play with your pinky. And between those 2 notes, you have your high root 5th shape, and you can come up with tons of cool bass lines. This shape is prominently featured in Dock of the Bay by Otis Redding, and Ricky Don't Lose That Number by Steely Dan. So that's the high shape. The low shape is even easier. Same root note, but now we go down a string on the same fret. So down meaning lower sounding, which takes you from the 5th fret of the A string to the 5th fret of the E string. Root 5th, root 5th. So again, the high shape, we go up a string and up 2 frets, and the low shape, we go down a string on the same fret. This shape is also used in tons of bass lines. You might have heard that like country 2-beat vibe when I was playing it earlier, but the coolest example of this is John Deacon's riff on Under Pressure. So let's put these shapes into practice for today. You'll be able to use these in real songs much more fluently with what I show you on day 5, but for an easy start, let's jam with some drums and guitar. We're gonna get spicy and alternate between 2 different root notes to start on. So you're gonna get 2 4 counts where we start on the 5th fret of the A string. That'll last for 2 4 counts, and then we'll go to the 3rd fret of the A string, and in both spots you can apply your root 5th shapes. So we go back to the 5th fret start, we can go high shape or low shape, then back to 3rd fret, high shape, low shape, however you want to do it, and just try stuff out. Your mission to complete day 4, play with the track on your own for 5 to 10 minutes and get really comfortable with the high and low root 5th shapes. You can also make up your own songs solo or with a plain drum track by just picking some notes on the dots like we did on day 1, and then layer your root 5th shapes onto those notes you chose. The fastest way to learn songs and come up with solid bass lines is to have a simple visual reference that you can read. But here's the problem. Reading sheet music takes tons of practice, reading tablature lacks context and is way too slow, and these stupid lyrics with chord names charts don't tell you when things are supposed to happen. The solution, the simple yet elegant chord chart. It's nice Vanna White action here. This is a shorthand format that any musician on any instrument can read. By the end of this section, you'll know how to read this, how to apply it to the bass, and use it to come up with bass line ideas. I'll give it to you in 3 steps. Step 1, learn the note names on your bass neck. You need to learn your notes, and I have a big, long, detailed video on that. But today I'm gonna shortcut you with a bass notes cheat sheet, which shows you the note names up to the 7th fret, and you can grab it in the description whenever you need it. Step 2 is to match the chord chart to your bass notes. So if you see a G on the chord chart, you just find a G on your bass notes cheat sheet. If you have multiple options, which you probably will, just pick your favorite or the lowest sounding one on the thickest string. There are some other symbols you might see by the letters on a chord chart. If you see a little B, which means flat, or a pound sign, which means sharp, those are part of the note name, so you need to hunt down a G flat or a G sharp. But any other symbol, a little M, a 7, whatever, you can ignore for now. That stuff does matter for chordal instruments and more complex bass lines, but not for the simple shapes we're using in this lesson. Step 3, follow the rhythm. These charts don't just tell you the order of the notes, they also tell you how long they last by using bar lines, which are also used in sheet music, which break up the 4 counts. So if there's only one note name between the lines, you know it lasts for a full 4 count, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you see 2 note names inside the same lines, that usually means they each get 2 counts, like 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's put that all together and look at the outro progression to Hey Jude by the Beatles. You already knew that. Nobody else has ever dared to write another song called Hey Jude. Like, hey, I wrote a song, it's called Hey Jude. No, you didn't. So step 1, get your cheat sheet handy. Step 2, match the note names on the chord chart to your bass notes. So first on the chord chart is an F, so you find that on the cheat sheet and then play it on your bass, 1st fret of the E string. Next is E flat. Remember that little B means flat, and that's part of the note name. So you see one of those on the 1st fret of the D string, you can play that. And next is B flat. Find that on the 1st fret of the A string, play it, and then back to F, same as before. Step 3, check the rhythm, which looks like 1 4 count each. So once you find the pulse of the song, 1, 2, 3, 4, you can get your 4 count going, 2, 3, and just plug in the notes. F, 2, 3, 4, B flat, 2, 3, 4, B flat, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, and then obviously start singing at the top of your lungs. Na, 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 hey you, copyright claim, da. Your mission to complete day 5, download the chord charts practice sheet in the description and get rock solid on these 3 steps with 3 more chord progressions from popular songs. You could go your own way. And if you're digging this lesson and you're hungry to get badass at bass fast, you should check out my Beginner to Badass course at BassBuzz.com. It includes more on rhythms, technique, creating bass lines, chord progressions, and playing way more songs. It's over 35 hours of pre-recorded video lessons that you can do at your own pace. And you get lifetime access, so you can complete it in 6 months, 3 months, or you can rip through it in 30 days if you're a crazy person. It is time to rock. You're gonna learn Creep by Radiohead because it's a great song to practice coming up with your own bass lines. It's a simple repeating loop of just a few notes without being a bland, soulless pop song. Our goal today isn't to learn Colin Greenwood's original bass line note for note, although it's super rad and you can totally do that another time. I'm just gonna get you up and running on the basics of playing a full song, and then on day 7, we'll add some more bass player flourishes. Let's get straight into it. First, we need to use your chord chart and note name skills from day 5 to figure out what to play and when to play it. So 4 things to read here: G, B, C, and then C with a little M. Like I said, you can ignore the M for now since it's not part of the note name, so you only need to find 3 notes. If you have your note cheat sheet, you can find those notes here. G on the 3rd fret of the E string, B on the 2nd fret of the A string, and C on the 3rd fret of the A string. And notice the lines on the chord chart, which mark where the bars or 4 counts are. Each note gets 2 full 4 counts, except C technically will be playing for 4 4 counts. For 4 4 counts. Yikes. Now we're gonna integrate the rhythms from day 2 to make this feel more like a bass line. Like I said, the more frequently you pluck, the more energy you add to the song. And this is part of our power as bassists, to change the mood and intensity with our rhythmic choices. So I'm gonna do like a fast forward demo and switch rhythms pretty frequently, but when you do this on your own, you can space out your rhythm switches a lot more. Okay, so pull up the chord chart, find where the pulse is, find your 4 count, 1, 2, 3, 4, whole note. Where I'll start, you can start wherever you want. 2, 3, 4, I'll go to half notes on B, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Now I'll try some quarter notes on C, build some intensity, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Stay there. Now I'll try some 8th notes on the chorus. 1, 2, 3, 4. mission to complete day 6 is to try out playing the roots and changing rhythms on the full song at least once. Try less plucks when it's chill, more when it's wild, and feel free to try your own rhythms, maybe inspired by the drum track, like you could catch that boom, 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 boom that's on the original. Now you're probably gonna wanna add some more spice to this because after 3 minutes of just root notes, it might get a little boring. So I'll see you on day 7, where we'll put it all together to make your lines kick more ass. You made it, it's day 7, you're on the edge of becoming the greatest bass player the world has ever known, and I've been wearing these clothes for a week. I said I'd turn you into a bass slaying machine, and that means not just knowing some cool tricks, but being able to apply what you know to real songs. We're gonna play Creep again, because I'm still wearing this shirt, but we're gonna build up your bass lines with the root fifth shapes and the 3-finger riffs we learned on previous days, so you have even more creative choices you can make as a bassist to affect a song. Lightning round review, here's the chord chart, so you got G, B, and C, and you already tried playing different rhythms for different intensities on those. Now let's time travel back to day 4 and add the root fifth shape, which you can play as the high shape, so it's going from C, you go up a string and up 2 frets, or the low shape going down a string on the same fret. The only trick in context is that you can't use both shapes from every starting note. Like the low G at the beginning of Creep, you can't use the low shape because there's no string here. But when you go to the B, now there's a string on either side of it. So you can play the high shape or the low shape. And then same thing from C, high shape or low shape. I'll show you that in the song in a second, but first, how can we also integrate that cool 3-finger riffing we were doing on day 3? We're actually not gonna be able to go to 5, 6, 7 heaven this time. We're gonna have to play on frets 3, 4, and 5. 3, 4, 5 to stay alive. So you don't die and go to 5, 6, 7 heaven. I don't know what I'm saying at this point. This is a very long video. There are lots of ways you could swing this, but I'm just gonna say on the last 2 4 counts of the progression, just go nuts on 3, 4, 5, however you want to. Feel free to descend into tasteless wanking. I won't tell anybody. Okay, don't worry if you're a little sketchy on what you're actually supposed to do. I'm gonna demo it for you. You can just watch and I'll explain as I go. So again, anchoring to the chord chart, finding the notes. I'm gonna be playing with the root fifth shapes from each note, and then at the end, going crazy with 3, 4, 5 to stay alive. 1, 2, 3, 4. Starting on G, going to the 5th, trying some different rhythms. Go to B, same thing, up for the 5th, or down. Same thing on C. See how the 5th adds some nice movement. And then 3, 4, 5 to stay alive at the end. Your mission to complete day 7, just go crazy on this song and make Tom York's head explode. And if you want more in-depth lessons that'll teach you this stuff and way, way more, just click the link on my face to learn more about my Beginner to Badass course. Beginner to Badass, tell your friends. Is that what I'm supposed to say? Oh.